Oh, wait. Hey, guys. It's us.
We're
Lauren
back.
McLaughlin.
Kyle Solinko.
Our neighbor downstairs. He just got home, slamming his door. It's cool, guys. Don't even worry about it. So, welcome. Episode 3 of the No Smoke Pickleball show. Big show tonight, guys. We have tons to talk about, so we're basically going to get right into it. We got the Newmans coming up, which is going to be awesome. But the big announcement of the day. Happy birthday to the sky, happy birthday to the sky. Look at Josh. He says happy birthday.
Thank you,
guys,
Josh.
It's Kyle Solinko's birthday today. Woo, woo, woo.
You know, some people really like to celebrate birthdays. Me, not so much.
I care more than he does that it's his birthday, apparently, but it is your birthday nonetheless.
I mean, who wants to get another year older?
Yeah,
It's
but
just,
like there's so much cool stuff that like comes from getting older.
it's just another year past my athletic
He's
prime.
33, everybody. 33.
Or prime that I probably never had. So
He's slowly aging out of the prime he never had. So, big shout out. I wanted to give a quick shout out to your birthday present that I got you, which is this amazing pickleball medal holder. Shout out to Pickleball Tulsa, as in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you go to their Facebook page, they have custom sizes, they got set sizes. That is where I got this guy. I saw it on Facebook and was just like, oh, that's fun. He hangs all his medals in the closet right now, which I bet a lot of people do. So there you go. Awesome gift from me to him. So how did you like that present?
well, it's a lot better than the medals hanging in my closet.
That's true. And
I mean, really, what do you do with medals?
it's true. What does everybody do with their pickleball medals? I personally have mine also hung in a closet. I know my parents hang theirs in closets.
Well, you only have like 2, so.
That ain't true. I have like 5. So how dare you?
2,
How
5,
dare
who's
you?
to say?
Big shout out to Eddie of Eddie and Webby. He just called you old. So there's that.
I am old.
And I appreciate it.
I am old.
Regardless, we got a lot of people watching. We got a ton of stuff to talk about. Episode 3, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And let's do it.
Roll it.
Let's do it.
I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. I shoot a shot. I'm coming in hot. Coming in hot. Coming in hot.
And once again, those dances are for Baby Curry.
Baby Steph Curry. So big stuff. Big
And
stuff happening.
that's one of the things, we're having the Newmans on. I wonder, since, they're from Seattle, and the Seattle Supersonics left to Oklahoma.
Oh.
They're now the Thunder. See, my sport, like, Lauren's sport knowledge is like my movie knowledge.
That's
This-
true.
Not
You want to know
existent.
anything about a movie, TV show, anything? I got you covered. Anything about sports, this guy.
So I wonder if they're Portland Trailblazer fans from Oregon, or maybe
We'll have to ask them.
maybe they're
We'll
Baby
have to
Curry
ask
fans.
them.
All right.
That's right. All right. It's What's Simmering, guys. We got a bunch of stuff we're going to roll through, and then we actually got a couple smoke or no smoke stuff that we're talking about too, which is awesome. So big first What's Simmering, the Texas Open. We just had it last weekend. Big, huge tournament down in the Dallas area, right? Dallas area. Awesome play, good pro level, blah, 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 all that stuff.
I would say
we don't care
it's-
about any of that.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I would say it's one of the bigger top 5 tournaments, probably.
Yes, I would say it is up there as well. So our What's Simmering topic, however, is going to be the heat at the Texas Open. So I know the Chicago Open earlier this summer had like over 100-degree as well. Obviously, the U.S. Open gets toasty. All these tournaments that are happening in really hot weather areas, a lot of times they're reaching heat indexes well in the triple digits. Like the heat coming off the court makes it hotter, blah, blah, blah. So big shout out to ref extraordinaire Revel, who put this on the forum sort of during the Texas Open, I think. And she said, players and referees dropping due to heat and humidity. For those of you who survived without going down, how do you hydrate? Blah, blah, blah. So the big thing was a lot of people did either, there were a lot of people that were passing out, dealing with heat exhaustion, heat-related issues, all that good stuff. So kind of the issue that we're bringing up is what to do about that. Like, what do tournaments do to keep the athletes safe? Obviously, like, heat stroke is no joke. And you brought up the, what other sports do and things. So do you want to expound on that, or?
Yeah. So like this,
Ooh, look at that arm flap going on, guys. Talk about old. Ooh. Moving on.
Someone needs to work on their triceps a little bit more.
Guys, it's bad.
But this is the second time someone major has had to forfeit and withdraw. Like Tyson had to withdraw because of heat, symptoms, and Kyle had to withdraw during
Chicago Open. Kyle Yates, he ended up in the hospital getting IV fluids and stuff.
So I was watching real-time sports on HBO, and I couldn't believe that on average 2 high school football athletes a year die from heat stroke, heat exhaustion.
Yeah, 2. Die. Not just, pass out or whatever.
And so, this is a real issue. And especially if you think about it, there's so many seniors playing.
Oh, yeah. Pickleball is obviously a lot of, older age people are playing. But the thing is, that's the thing that, how serious is Tyson McGuffin, Kyle Yates, 2 of the younger, best in shape, best players are the ones going down as well. So you can only imagine, refs aren't even playing, but they're out there dealing with it as well. Volunteers, everybody has to deal with it. So your thought was, a lot of high schoolers, a lot of high schools, a lot of colleges and stuff have those ice tubs. So they're $150 or whatever to have this tub of water that's just full of ice that you have ready.
So when it's that, when at a tournament, the heat index, this is just as a tournament in general. So they said if you're exhibiting heat stroke symptoms, and because people die because their body temperature goes up above 105, 106, 107, and they pretty much just fry. Anyone who's showing symptoms, if they get into an ice bath within the first 10 minutes of really exhibiting those symptoms, no one has ever died.
Yeah.
So that's that important. But then the other thing to also consider is, should we be changing the format of maybe some of these tournaments?
Mm-hmm. I think you mentioned the Atlanta Open was another tournament that dealt with some extreme heat.
And that's when they first did the format 3 out of 5.
Yeah, and that's
just crazy.
Not sustainable for anybody in any amount of heat.
So what can you do? So maybe singles, 1 game to 15. Do you change it? Maybe it's a tennis tournament where the US Open, where you just in singles, if you lose, you're just done. There is no such thing as a back draw.
Yeah.
Top 14 or top 4 players, that make it, 2 play in the final and the other 2 play for third.
Yeah.
With this absolutely no back draw.
Yeah.
Or especially if you want to do the 3 out of 5 tournament, maybe split the days. You play maybe a couple matches, 2 out of 3 until you get to that final 4 teams. And then maybe
there's something to be said where you need to play earlier in the morning before the heat gets too much. Shout out to Cassandra who's watching. She was at the Texas Open, said there were no fans with water, places to cool down. We weren't allowed in the building with air, which was very tiny. No porta potty with air like Chicago Open at least had. So again, one of the players down there, that's obviously something tournament directors really need to be focused a lot more on when we're dealing with, putting together a tournament, all the things that you're planning for, all the things that you need to account for. One of them has got to be heat and what you do with it, how the players are being taken care of.
The number one thing should be player safety.
Absolutely.
Out of anything. When you're playing in a tournament, number one thing is how are we usually be thinking, especially looking ahead with the weather, how can we help our players so something like this doesn't happen.
Yeah, and TOC, I thought they did a great job. It wasn't outrageously hot at TOC, but big shout out to Kyle Klein. They had like misters going. They provided sunblock for the players because a lot of times, you know, people are getting sunburned. That's a big factor as well. They had like tents. The building with the bathrooms was cool. There were places to go, and it wasn't, of course, like in the triple digits, but again, like you can see that they thought that out.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, obviously hydrate a couple days ahead of time. Not like you go come prepared.
Yeah.
But like me personally, I can hydrate till the cows come home.
Yeah,
and like I cramp, like I just have some type of problem where I have such an imbalance with my electrolytes that, like, I don't know if it's like the repetitive motion of the up and down, or like just the quick twitch pickleball motions.
Yeah.
That like I cramp, like. Yeah. I can't. I seriously don't know what to do. I've tried all types of like supplements, you know, like rehydrate kind of stuff. Yes, all the other stuff, and.
Yeah, so it's a big sitch. Lots to think about in terms of player safety, especially when you're dealing with heat in these places with like big hot tournaments. Obviously, Nationals is coming up. I'm sure they put a little more thought into maybe a smaller tournament. But again, that's one of the things we're talking about, what's simmering. So hopefully, if you guys have any thoughts, any suggestions, feel free to shoot them in the comments. And let's move on, though. We have tons to talk about, as we mentioned. Yes. So our next what's simmering is kind of shakeups going on in the partner world of pickleball. Speaking of the Texas Open, that was the first sort of major tournament that we saw where Simone Jardim and Corinne Carr did not play together. We think this is probably going to be the case moving forward, that they're not partnering together as much.
Maybe.
We don't know that for a fact. That's not a, that's, like, don't quote us on that, but
Ben Johns played with his brother.
Mm-hmm. So Ben and Kyle didn't play together. Just a little kind of mixing up going on. And I think we were sort of discussing earlier, maybe looking at, if that's going to be coming down the pipeline as we have sort of up-and-comers into the pickleball world, as we have new names coming up that are making names for themselves in terms of their skill. And are we going to have these top-level players wanting to partner with new people, seeing if what happens, what goes on. And that, of course, was leaving us to, who's sort of underrated players in pickleball. Because I think the big thing so Corinne Carr partnered with Catherine Parento at the Texas Open. They actually won a match against Simone, who played with Lucy Kovalova. And I think, that was what were your thoughts on that match that Corinne and Catherine took off for them?
Yeah, I was watching that live, and like it was fun to see. Like Corinne, you could tell really wanted to win, and to her fact, like if you think about it, who was probably the breakup in the partnership? Who do you think it would be, Lauren? Who do you think broke that up?
I mean, you never really know, but probably Simone.
Yeah, probably Simone. But who's to say? Maybe there's a lot of other factors.
And it's not, it's not that there's ever...
And it's fun to play with other people, too.
Yeah, exactly. It helps mix up your game, helps to do stuff, but I think it's a bigger issue kind of when you look at, like, long-term people that play together, like, pretty exclusively in the high-level tournaments and have for a while, not playing together anymore. Obviously, it could be a mutual decision, but most likely probably one or the other partner is looking to maybe make a change, try something different, do something, and, who's to really say? But I think Corinne is one of those sort of underrated players that I think, unfortunately, when people think about her and Simone's partnership, a lot of times they are going to automatically assume Simone is the better player, kind of the one that carries Corinne. Obviously, that might be the case. Simone might be the stronger player when it comes down to it. But in the end, like, Corinne is not made because of Simone. Like, she doesn't play well just because she plays with Simone. Like, she is a great player. And her and Catherine proved that when they beat Simone and Lucy.
Yeah, so it was just fun to see, like, this looked like Corinne had something, like, she had something to prove. And especially, like, when Simone and Corinne usually play, like they're always stacking, usually, with with Simone on the ad side. Well, when Corinne was playing with Catherine this weekend, they stacked with Corinne on the ad side. And there was a lot of cross-court dinking between Simone and Corinne. And so you could really tell, like, maybe Corinne had a little chip on her shoulder and wanted to prove something. You could just tell after they won how happy their celebration was. So, I mean, that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's fun to watch, people that, they're standalone players too. Like, it's not just, sure, there's always going to be probably a better person in a partnership. Obviously, one player is generally going to be better than the other. And I think with the Ben-Kyle matchup, I think that is probably more debated who might be the better player. I think you think Ben is better, or becoming better at least. And I think sort of him I think Kyle kind of has played with different people more often, I would say, kind of on and off. So that's not necessarily as big of a, situation. I think that's kind of been in the works for a while, especially as Ben has, Colin Johns, as he's gotten better and kind of come on the scene. I think Ben has been looking to partner with him more, which would be fun for the brothers to play together. Yeah. So, it's something to be said.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. It's like anything. Like, everyone's competitive.
Yeah.
Like, when I like to play with Zane a lot, but when Zane's playing, in the tournament, Navertil, when he's playing with somebody else, like, I want to beat him down. While I'm playing, like, I want to beat him down. Like, you know what I mean? But, like, as soon as you're done, like, we're still, like, friends. So, like...
Exactly. Everyone's always trying to prove if it's, especially a partner that they normally play with and you're not playing together. Like, you're kind of out to get them a little bit. You want to be like, oh, you're not going to play with me? Then I hope I beat you. So, it is what it is. But it was just interesting coming down the pipeline. And another partnership that we are moving on to with... not a breakup at all, but the Waters, Annalie and Lee Waters, also at the Texas Open, did a really great job. And I think the issue that we are discussing with them is they sort of have a unique take on playing the kitchen line. I think generally in the pickleball world, it's pretty well established that, like, get your butt to the kitchen line. When you're on the kitchen line, like, stay on the kitchen line. Blah, 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 don't back off. But the Waters have kind of done the opposite, and they tend to play off the kitchen line pretty substantially. We have a picture here that we took from, so this is at the Texas Open. They're playing Simone and Lucy in their little matching outfits. And you can see, obviously, Lucy and Simone, they're a little off the line, but the Waters are very off the line. Very, very off the line. So this is kind of a,
this is like a debatable.
What's their strategy?
This is a very debatable topic, because, like, is pickleball moving in that direction as more dynamic players come into the game? And so, like, I've been thinking about this all week. What is the advantages and disadvantages of playing that far off the kitchen line? Mm-hmm. And we were kind of messing around with that last night when we were practicing. And, like, yes, for the most part, you're going to hit almost every single dink in front of you. Yeah. You're going to have more time. And also, like, obviously you have more space. And, like, Annalie hits heavy topspin dinks. Mm-hmm. So, so you can obviously
And obviously the Waters are very known for, they want to speed it up. They want to, they're looking for that power shot.
Yeah, so, okay. So, volleys. Like, that's cool. So, I'm just first taking it in terms of the dink.
The dink, yeah, okay.
Like, she has a very heavy topspin dink. So, like, she wants to keep the ball in front of her and hit that shot. The problem with that is if you get that dink up a little bit where the other team, and this was happening a lot in the final when I watched it, like, you can take, if that ball's going to be attacked out of the air by the other team, there's a lot of space to get the ball down and a lot of angles you can create. Mm-hmm. So, unless that dink is, very heavy and, it's difficult, but difficult for the other team to, like, dink it back.
It's difficult for, like, the Waters that are off the line, or it's difficult for their opponents?
See, what they're trying to do is hit that heavy topspin, so it's
difficult
for their opponent. But here's the thing: the other team at the kitchen line, you're giving them so much room where like you don't have to hit the greatest dink.
Yeah.
You know, to get the ball back over because you have so much space.
Yeah.
But then people are like, well, they're really good at attacking balls, you know, which is true off the bounce. Mm-hmm. But Simone and Lucy were doing a great job at like stepping out of the way and letting the ball go out of bounds as well.
Yeah, because if you watch the Waters play, like they're going to send a lot of those balls long, but they do a great job of keeping it sort of in the sphere of the body. Where their opponents are generally hitting them back when if they'd let them go, they'd be long, but they kind of catch them in the heat of the moment, in the point or whatever. They're going to, you know, send a lot of those back. So that's a good point.
And then even if they do like speed it up and the ball gets sped up, like there's so much room still that like let's say the ball is going flat back and forth with each other. Mm-hmm. You're that far off the line. If they can get the ball down, now you're having to lift from that far away.
Or dig it out.
Which they're good at.
Sure.
But here's the thing is they have really good hands. If you think you have better hands, then why would you want to create more space for your opponent? Instead of 14 feet, now there's like 16 feet, 17 feet between you guys. If you think you have the better hands, like why don't you want to close that distance? You know?
Yeah.
And if you're going to speed it up and you know, that's just less of reaction time for your opponents, you know, to react to get out of the way.
And I feel like generally speaking, I've heard this like be brought up in the past about the Waters and how they play off their line. And I'd say generally speaking,
it works.
It works, but most people's feedback about that is that generally that's not a good idea.
I mean, if you're looking at it from like, you need to have a certain type of skill set to be able to play with that. You need to be mobile. You need to be able to hit certain shots and have like quick hands. Like I would not recommend that for like people that like are older and like don't, you know, are just learning the game. Like I don't think that's something I would be teaching right away.
Yeah. So that is our What's Simmering section, guys. So we're going to roll right into Smoke or No Smoke. Don't worry, everybody who is waiting for the Newmans, they're coming. They're coming, guys. We have all the questions. We're just warming it up. We're the warm-up act. I apologize that we are not as good as them. Steve, I appreciate that. He said Riley Newman is in makeup. Lindsey Newman looks fabulous already. So that is probably true. I would assume Riley is taking longer to get ready.
In the pre-interview, they were just heading back from the pool.
They just got back from the pool. You know, they're in Arizona. They're just taking it easy, living that West Coast life. So we're going to get to them soon. We're trying to roll through all this stuff. We've got a couple really good smoke or no smoke topics today, guys. If this is your first time watching us, because you're joining for the Newmans, we appreciate you being here. Thank you for sticking with us. Smoke or No Smoke is a little segment that we do where we take a topic that's either sort of controversial, very debatable, has differing opinions. We kind of put it out there, see what you guys think. Feel free to comment. We got just a couple to roll through. Normally we stick to one if we have kind of like a bigger issue, but as we were discussing before the show, we came up with some really good ideas that we thought all were worth talking about. Hi, Sean. Sean Rodrigo says, aloha, guys. First time here. Awesome. That leads me to think you're watching from Hawaii, which is awesome. Thanks for joining us. So our first Smoke or No Smoke is the big Paddletek announcement that is happening. I don't know if you guys saw it. We're going to play a video real quick that Paddletek released on Facebook, probably their website and some other places. So we're just going to roll this real quick and get into it after that. All right. So that was the big to-do.
So they have been touting this for about 5 months now that there's a new era coming. So do you think this is going to be smoke like fire, or is this going to be blowing smoke, up our...
So it's interesting because you found a couple pictures. We'll put one of them up here real quick. So this is one of Irina Tereshchenko, who is a Paddletek.
This was over in France or
player.
Spain.
This was over at the French Open or the Spanish Open where she was at. This paddle,
it looks like the Tangent Pro, but I've never seen it this. So I don't know if this is...
Yeah, we don't know if this is one of the new paddles that's coming out. We don't know if this is a little sort of sneak peek. Got another shot here of Irina with Kyle. Yeah, so it's sort of a new looking paddle. We're not sure if we've seen it around. If any of you guys have seen this paddle before, feel free to comment and let us know what you think. Steve Malley, you absolutely will get to ask the Newmans questions, so stick with us.
So what do you think it could possibly be? Okay, so if you're going to be saying there's a new era, if you're hyping this up this much...
Yeah, this has been quite the hype.
So it better be new paddle technology. You better not just be
not just
hey, we made the core an eighth of an inch thicker and we made new graphics and boom. It's a brand new paddle.
It's a brand new world, everybody.
It's same core,
which they've done in the past. And I feel like a paddle is probably going to be part of this. Specifically, also because let's see if I have this. So Kyle Yates, who is a big Paddletek person as well. This was hyping just this earlier on the forum, I believe. So he was like, can't say anything. And then he said a lot more is changing than just the paddles. Someone said something else about paddles, and he said think bigger. So I think, I feel like probably a paddle situation will be part of it, but due to Kyle sort of saying it's more than just paddles, it's bigger. We're not sure what to think, because really, what are the options? We were hypothesizing a merger, possibly an acquisition of another company.
Are they going to do more with Prince? Is it going to be? Is it going to do Engage, where they open their whole academy?
Did they own Prince?
No.
Are they working with Prince? What's the deal with Prince?
Prince does stuff where they license their name out to companies. So a lot of things, when you see Prince, they license their name out to somebody. They most likely license their name out to Paddletek, and then Paddletek has made all their paddles.
Yeah. Well, what's funny, because that new paddle, or I don't know if it's new, whatever, this paddle that we haven't seen before that Irina said, I thought it looked like Prince. The P looked like the Prince logo to me. I kind of was like, is that a Prince paddle? But then I don't know if it's a new design or whatever that Paddletek's working with, so,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Hopefully it's, cool
we
stuff.
hope it's, maybe they're doing a tournament series. Maybe they're doing...
What do you guys think?
Whatever. Guys... Totally comment if you guys have any thoughts on what the big Paddletek announcement's going to be. Obviously, it's coming up in a couple weeks, and we'll find out.
Thomas thinks it's this fake news.
Fake news. They need a facelift. They need a new rebranding, maybe.
Rob Newman says they do it for the cash. For the Benjamins.
That money. We'll see. So,
hey, we'll definitely, we'll cover this, and this is the No Smoke Pickleball show. We won't be blowing smoke.
Yep, true that.
Will give you our honest opinions.
Our next quick little smoke or no smoke is Randy Coleman recently posted on the forum. It got a lot of comments. It got a lot of talk. We'll just put it up for you real quick here. And if you did not see this already, so he posted a couple days ago. He said, I prefer to share the positive things in life, and I am all for people across the nation embracing pickleball, learning pickleball, showing others how to play pickleball. However, give back, give free lessons, earn your respect in the game. Making a little money is fine, but this bandwagon of people obtaining certifications and they're 4-0 players with no paddle, racket, or sports teaching history or record of how to win, charging full-scale top pro teaching prices makes me sad. Just saw a big professional instructor van looked up the instructor, not impressed. Like being a so-called builder going in after a hurricane and taking advantage of people needing their home built back correctly, but the builder doesn't even know how to pour a foundation. I just don't like seeing people taken advantage of who don't know better. I shouldn't, but it's why I do so much for free, hoping to balance the current system. Don't be a shark, be a kind human without motive. So there was a lot of discussion about that on the forum. A lot of people, it was divisive. I wouldn't say, in a negative way divisive, but I think there were certainly people that agreed very much with Randy's statement. And then, there's people out there that are a lower level pickleball player out there teaching, charging a lot of money. Some people were kind of like, hey, what about the people paying the money? Why aren't we talking about them? Like, it's on them to do their due diligence on who they're paying to teach. It's their choice who they want to pay, who they want to take lessons from. And then some people were saying they don't know any better. They're new to the sport. They don't know who these people are, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of, is it, I don't know, is it sort of like a mind your own business? Like, let people do what they want to do. It's up to the consumer to decide if it's ridiculous or not. Is it sort of like watching an infomercial and the thing is like absolutely insane, but there's still all these people that are buying it, and it's like, well, that's on you then, man. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
But like,
thoughts?
I just, it's like a used car salesman kind of deal. Like,
So you're of the thing that you need to be a higher level player. You need to kind of like.
It's more like I don't care if a 4.0 instructor is trying to make some money, but like don't be charging like you're a top level instructor if you're not a top level instructor.
Yeah.
But like you just see like there's some places in Chicago that like someone has no credentials really, like charging people money, and there's like 30 people there, and like who knows what they're really learning.
Yeah,
I just feel bad for that.
And I think in the course of the discussion on the forum, there was a point that I think oh god, I'm literally, who runs Aspen? I'm so sorry. I was like, I know it's an A. Why am I completely blanking on his name? So Aspen Kern commented because someone mentioned him in a comment about how he goes in to teach people and has to like unlearn or reteach, them having bad habits that they learn from these people that don't know what they're doing, and he has to like undo all the damage before he can like teach the right stuff. And it's kind of like, I don't know, like who's to. I feel like, one, the game of pickleball is very subjective, like what your style is, how you play it. Like, I don't know who's to say, like, again, there are people that are saying you don't necessarily have to be a 5.0 professional pickleball player to teach. Some people are really great at teaching. If you understand the foundations, the fundamentals of the game, like I see no reason why you wouldn't be able to give lessons, be a good teacher. It's just a certain type of person that makes a good teacher, not just their skill level. So I think that's, I
mean, it's a free market for a reason that we live in. So, but the thing is, like, if you have any type of conscience or morality, like
I think that was the gist of the post.
That's what I mean,
was
like, know what you think you're worth and
if you're gonna give lessons, like,
I don't
you're
mind,
3.5.
like Rob Newman just posted, I'm a 3.5 and I give free lessons to beginners. That's great.
And he said just the basics of the game.
If that's what you're teaching,
Which
like,
that
that's
way, if you're
great.
teaching the rules,
the
if you're
basics,
teaching,
like,
like, here's blah, 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 here's what the rules are, here's, how to dink. Like, at the park that we play at a lot, there was a group of ladies that were very new beginners, didn't even know a lot of the rules, blah, blah, blah. And I literally you guys were playing, and I just stood kind of by the fence, and they just had questions that I answered just about really basic rules stuff, like, oh, no, like, you have to let it bounce before you can hit it here. Like, no, you don't have to switch sides when you're serving, blah, blah, blah. Like,
well, would you charge them $40 an hour each to, like, teach them that kind of stuff?
See, that's the thing. Like, I wouldn't, but if I'm a top-level pickleball pro, yeah, probably.
That's what I'm saying. Well, like, I mean, I don't know. It's a
Johnny Storm. if you teach the harmonica, you can teach pickleball. Oh, you know, it is what it is. So I think, you know, I think that's why that post on the forum was very conversationally promoting, because people had a lot of thoughts on that, and it was a good post. And I think ultimately my opinion is, I don't think you have to be a 5.0 level pro to play, but I think you have to know what you're talking about, and I think you have to be a good teacher. But again, someone, you know, Josh just said, would you take $40 an hour if they offered it to you? Like, I don't know. Yeah, probably. Like, it really comes down to like, how much someone's willing to pay you. It's kind of like anything else. Like, if someone's willing to pay it, why not take it? So that, of course, a lot of other issues go into that. So that's like another branching thing, but whatever, blah, blah, blah. Some people say, mind your own business. Some people just say, you know, like, do what you're doing. And again, I don't necessarily think Randy needs to be like, I give away a lot of free lessons to try and balance out the system. Like, Randy, give free lessons or don't. Like, charge what you want. I think it's, you know, it's your prerogative.
It's your prerogative. You have to sleep at night.
Yeah, I don't think him giving away free lessons is balancing anything out. I think if he can make money at it and people want to pay him, he's obviously, I would say, probably a much more qualified person to be teaching than some of the other people out there teaching. So, you know, I think there's something to be said for people that aren't necessarily, you know, good players that are good teachers. So it is what it is. Someone's asking who's Randy. If you missed the beginning, Randy Newman.
No, Randy Coleman.
Oh, I'm sorry, Coleman. Did I say Newman the first time?
No.
Okay, good. I was like, oh.
It's on the pickleball forum. Go check it out.
I apologize. He plays for Selkirk. He's a Selkirk sponsored player. He does a lot of commentating for the USAPA as well.
Yep. Good player.
So yeah,
good teacher.
Big name around the pickleball scene. So definitely check him out. I mean, cool guy. Our last smoke or no smoke before we get to the Newmans, which I know you guys are just chomping at the bit for the Newmans, is...
It's their world premiere, so everybody be kind to them.
They're a little nervous. And speaking of the Newmans, this is a perfect segue into our last smoke or no smoke, which is playing pickleball with siblings, family members, and significant others. Is this smart? Is this the worst idea that's ever existed? I think very subjective, and what I know you have some very strong thoughts on that situation. Why
don't do it, people, unless you're at the same skill level or you want to go to couples counseling.
P.S. I take great offense at you saying if you're the same skill level. I think, one, even if we were the same skill level, we would play terribly together because we have super different ways that we think about pickleball and think about playing and think about whatever. Like, I'm much more laid back.
You're not on the same page.
No, exactly. So I feel like there are 100% like Yvonne and Jim Hackenberg. They're like super awesome married couple, play together exclusively in mixed that I'm aware of.
Cassandra and Jarrett
play together. They're engaged now. I know there's other people, you know, obviously like Lindsey and Riley play together really well. I play with my brother like a lot in mixed, and I feel like there's, you know, what?
Like Lauren, but like you're lucky that your brother's so chill.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's why I play with him, because he's chill.
If your brother was like me, like, you guys would have been like the storming off the court, because
100%. That's why I'm saying, like,
Matt and Lucy. Thank you, Terry.
That's why I'm just like, the whole subject of playing with someone you're married to, dating, or, you know, I play really well with my brother Kevin. I do not play well with my mother, and my apologies to my mom. Like, I'm a crazy person when I play with her, because there's just so much family dynamic going into that makes me a crazy person.
Lauren,
so we
you're
cannot
even
play
like
together.
that with Kevin.
Yeah, but Kevin's cool. Kevin and I
Let me give you the
very
impression of Lauren scolding her brother. Turns to him, gives him the finger, and goes, "You better get your together."
Yeah, because he knows that's what he needs. First of all,
just a scolding of him.
Yeah, I'm not scolding him. I'm just telling him to get his life together on the pickleball court. So I just feel like one, if you are on the same, if you have similar personalities, if you have the same philosophy of the game or whatever, like, I think you'll be fine playing together if you're at the same skill level. Obviously, different skill levels, like, you know, it's, why would you be playing together? You're not the same skill level. So I feel like that's just kind of a moot point. But the whole, like, I could be a 5, I could be better than you, and we could not play together because you're like, a crazy person.
I don't say anything to you. I just look at you.
He
and
just
like,
glares at me like he wants to stab me in the face.
me just going like this to you is like bad body language. I don't even say anything to you.
Yeah, that's worse. I would way better. Kevin's way cooler with me telling him to get his life together and then just
because he just goes, ugh.
He says fine.
And then puts on another tank top. Yeah, we see you, Kevin.
Kevin, he's not watching. My stupid brother. You can't even support.
He does have a good tank top selection for a tournament. Check him out.
He has a lot of tank tops. It's true. Some more questionable than others. But regardless, that's kind of getting us to the Newmans. Let me go ahead and just give them a heads up so they can get out of makeup. And do you have any other thoughts? No, Gary, Lauren and Kyle cannot play together. We just discussed why.
We value our relationship way too much.
Yeah.
To end it on.
I mean, we have a hard time just drilling together and practicing sometimes because you're crazy.
Babe, that's just the competitive spirit in me. We talked about this. And we'll talk about this with the Newmans because I feel they're a lot more along my same page.
They are. I feel like they have the reason they play so well together, though, I feel like, is because they have very similar philosophies, very similar same blah blah blah, and we do not. That's why I'm saying, like, but Kevin and I have the same thing too. We're both chill about, like, we want to win, but like ultimately we don't care.
Like, you seeming like you don't care, like, irritates me.
Well, your face irritates me. All right, guys, we're going to do a quick little intro here. Selkirk put together an awesome little video of the Newmans, Riley and Lindsey, who are our guests. So we're going to play that real quick. We're going to get them on the horn, and we're going to get what everybody's here to see going. Boop.
What's it like playing with Riley? Well,
playing with my sister is quite an experience.
There's good days, bad days, probably mostly good days.
But to be honest, we don't smile a lot on the court. That's on the outside, but inside, internally, I'm having the absolute blast playing.
Honestly, it's a lot of fun. I think we have the sibling vibe going, and it's something that most of the competitors we play against don't have, and I think that's a really big advantage for us.
Every time I miss a shot that I probably shouldn't have, I get that glare every time. If I hit a good shot, she'll say, nice shot. But the compliments don't come often, so I really try and embellish on whenever she gives me a compliment.
He might beat me up after a match if I don't do too well, but I'll give it right back, so it's a lot of fun.
It's second to none, and I absolutely love it.
Okay. Perfect. I like those.
All right, guys, we're back, and it's the Newmans. Yeah, if you guys want to like squish together a little closer and look like you love each other, we'll probably see you better. I know, you know. Welcome, guys. So we're super excited to have you guys. So everybody, this is, you know, your guys' sort of first foray into this whole situation because you guys like to fly under the radar, self-proclaimed fly under the radar pros, which we appreciate, but came out of hiding to do this little interview with us, so we're super appreciative, and I think everyone's really excited to learn more about you guys and hear more stuff, so thank you so much for joining us.
Cool. Well, happy birthday, Kyle.
Yay!
Thank you. I always love happy birthday from people that don't even know me. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, and actually, you know, the Newmans are big on birthdays. And really, it's not a birthday without presents. So can you see? I don't know if you can you see our presents?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
I mean, I was really...
Presents. You get to pick, because you can't get two presents, you just get one. So you have to pick between either my present or Riley's present.
Oh, who's the more thoughtful person you think, Lauren?
I mean, I already know which one I would pick, but I will not I will
I
not.
think I have Black Panther on my present. Riley just has boring stripes.
Well, you got Kyle. Which one are you gonna pick?
Which one do you think, babe? You know I'm bad at making decisions.
I mean, I would go with Lindsey.
Lindsey.
Woo!
Oh, no, sorry,
Usually I stick with the bros, but like...
Lindsay's looks bigger, too.
Okay. All right, I gotta open your present since you obviously can't.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
Okay, here, I'm opening your present. This is from the Newmans. Okay, with your snowman box.
Yes.
And your present is... Can you see it?
69 McDonald's ice cream!
From McDonald's.
Free cone on the Newman.
I love McDonald's ice cream cones.
I
You
know.
got one on us. 69 cents is your limit, though. No,
They gotta be on sale.
worries.
They're only 150 calories, so that's
That is
why I
true.
like them.
Eat it.
Speaking of ice cream, aren't you guys kind of
Happy
like...
birthday.
Thank you, guys.
Aren't you guys crazy for the Dairy Queen? Ooh, we're back.
We're back.
We're back. We're back.
Nice.
Okay, we'll see how long this lasts. Hey, everybody. So I don't know if it actually stopped, if it kept being live, whatevs, but we're back. Sorry, technical difficulties. Okay, so we're back with Lindsey and Riley Newman. If you're just joining us, everyone knows who they are. We just talked about the siblings. There's 7 of you guys. It's awesome. So we wanted to kind of start before we dive into all the pickleball stuff, because we'll get to that. But obviously your family dynamic is super unique a little bit. I mean, I think not a lot of people have that many siblings. And one, you guys all seem super close. You guys are all super into sports. You all kind of followed the same path along the sports route and what you did with it. So, oh, thank you. My mother's like, your mouths don't match the voices. I'm sure it'll work itself out. It's fine. Everyone will get back to speed. So basically, I guess we just kind of want to know like what it was growing up like in your family, because it seems like you guys are like sports, and a little more sports, and some sports on the side.
Yeah, I mean, like everyone knows, there were 7 of us, and like literally everything and anything was a competition in terms of who had to go to bed first, to who had to make dinner, who had to unload the dishwasher. Everything was just crazy competitive. And, so we would get used to like playing ping pong for having to do chores, or shooting hoops outside to figure out who had to make dinner that night.
Even in Chris with our other cousins, and you know what, we'd have Mario Kart. So we have 8 people playing Mario Kart on the Nintendo DS, and it's just going ham. We're going crazy, and everything's competitive and just loud, and so we just love to have a good time.
So I have an older brother, and when we grew up, we had neighbors across the street, and they were around our same age. And literally, she wants to know where my competitive, I'm like to the